than entrance in some iterations of the game, but it's not going to be that. I'm sorry, it is going to be a robo as well here. He just started that.
Yeah, the robo coming down later, and MaxPax actually finds the proxy. That's really good for him to know exactly what is coming his way, as now he can tailor his response to counter his opponents a little bit more specifically. We see the shield battery going down. He has another sentry on the way, chronoing out that warp gate. And it's all going to be about, can he hold his natural here? There's even a second pylon for Trigger a little bit closer towards the base, just for those slightly quicker warp-ins. And we do see the shades, the Adept Shades for the first time. Is there a probe up here to block it? Yes, there is, so they will not get in. And they'll probably play this mini-game like a few times as Trigger warps in more and more units here.
So he's got a second pylon up here, so he can warp in Adepts and hit even harder here. But we haven't had the rush activate yet. The Warp Prism started.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little bit, and every passing moment here is going to be a little bit of additional income in here for MaxPax. He's at 31 probes, where Trigger's at 23. So Trigger's very much locked in to try to come in here with a kind of neck-slitting move. He wants to basically get in here and get the kill immediately.
Yeah, nice block on the ramp again. These shield batteries going to be pivotal to the defense here. Curious how many will make through. The Phoenix spots the Warp Prism move out, so he knows the timing of that exactly. Trigger's going into an Immortal follow-up here. And 3 more Adepts as well. So we don't have a crazy amount of Stalkers. It's actually quite Adept heavy. And more Stalkers being warped in for MaxPax. Once again, blocks the natural. Very important. Blocks the ramp. And here comes the attack.
Okay, so when you see the Warp Prism, you know there's not going to be any kind of drop into your main. So he can actually take the Stalkers that are in his main and send them down here. Good Force Fields are going to buy a little bit of time.
Yeah,
he's going to keep these 3 Stalkers up here. I'm kind of surprised by that. I thought he would have brought everything down there.
Yeah, he might just be worried about the Warp Prism getting in. Oh my god, he actually could have pulled the trigger there if he wanted to, but Ops not to, knows those Stalkers are in the main, just decides to take the fight down here. Force Field's going down on both sides. 4 Stalkers are in the main, 4 MaxPax. They now join up with the rest of the army. Good micro with this Prism, just ferrying these units to the back. A lot of them on red HP or very low right now. Can MaxPax pick off a couple? No, they're all saved.
So, I mean, what are we going to do now? Like, if he doesn't break this open in the next minute or two, I think MaxPax is just going to take the game. There's still a decent number of shield batteries. Is he going to commit with this? Okay, so he lets those shade in there, and this means that, well, he's going to get some worker kills, but I mean, right now MaxPax, even as he's losing workers, is still up. He's already lost 8 workers, and he's still in the lead 28 to 23.
Yeah, he can definitely afford some losses. As long as he doesn't lose an insane amount of probes, he'll always be really out-mining Trigger here. The next warp in of Adepts comes, and will he go into the main again? He's going to threaten it at least. Would like to see it blocked instead of letting... It's interesting that he's just letting these in. Like, okay, if you want to warp in, fine, I'll just kill your units.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I'm so used to just seeing them plug that up with a pylon, right. But he seems to have some idea that maybe he wants to be able to fish them in like that. 2 Immortals, but 1 is kind of crab walking to the side and not really doing any damage at all. Now he's got 3 up here. We got to have a dive in here. Again, the Warp Prism allows for additional juggling, but I don't know if there's enough material outside of the Immortals to really do anything. I mean, there's so much muscle here for MaxPax.
He just has so many units right now, and with the 5 batteries, was able to hold on. Even pulled the probes to help in this defense, and now it's just Immortals and a Prism against this whole army. Obviously, he can kite for a long time, but eventually you will run out of space, and he's forced to pick up. Another warping comes in here, but it goes down, Tasteless.
He gets him.
This Immortal is cooked.
Yeah, okay, so, I mean, I think Trigger's going to try one more time here, but I think this game's basically over. The Warp Prism is kind of the thing that makes the whole rush work, right? Yeah. And, now you can basically target this down with impunity. A couple more Stalkers are going to come in here, so MaxPax is just going to retreat back to the safety of the battery. But again, I guess in theory, Trigger could just like expand himself and play from behind, but I don't think that's what's going to happen in this game. I mean, you're basically dead.
Yeah. You would be so far behind if you did that. And here he goes again. Actually force fields that Immortal in very nicely here. No Prism to save it, as it did go down. It's a good pick off for MaxPax, and the army supplies are dead even, but MaxPax has 5 batteries of the natural, and it just has such a huge impact on these fights.
Yeah, he is going to try to come in again. MaxPax, let's see, does he let it in again here? No, this time he decides to go with the plug. Yeah. And, yeah, I mean, it's just going to be Trigger trying once more. Will he make another Warp Prism, perhaps, before he attacks in, or is that going to be too much time? He does go for another Warp Prism.
Yeah, I mean, the clock is running out here for Trigger. He needs to get some damage done soon. It's so interesting that he's just fine to let those go in and just trade out Stalkers for trade out Adepts for Workers. But I mean, when you have this much of a lead, why not? You're up 14 probes. You've been up for a long time, so like killing the economy of MaxPax doesn't actually win the game. You have to break the natural somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, I think this game is getting easier and easier here for MaxPax. So there's going to be one more attack in here. Force fields are going to go down. I think we'll probably have to have those Stalkers that are in the main pulled in here with the rest of this and try to attack down here.
Yeah, here come the rest of the Stalkers to help out from the main. And MaxPax's army just looks huge right now. These shield batteries putting in work, and Trigger's attack starting to fizzle out a bit. He's still juggling these units as much as he can, saving them some very nice micro, but he just doesn't have enough right now, it looks like, to actually make the full dive into the natural and get on top of these units and the batteries.
Okay, another warp in here. He's already, he's going to have to try to move in here again. Again, the size of the army is so minuscule compared to what MaxPax is able to pump out here. He's going to try to come in once more. A lot of times it's great to just try to go for the Stalkers on the ground here because so much of the attention is going to be focused on microing the Immortals into the Warp Prisms. That's when you can kind of clear out that other material on the board.
Wow, these Immortals got some really good shots there. They actually killed 2 sentries and a Stalker, I think, very quickly. Microing these Stalkers back to the back lines. Here come the probes once more. That's the thing. Trigger always has this option to pull a bunch of probes because he's almost 20 ahead. And these can be a beat shield and allow the rest of his units to get on top of the prism. It falls once again, and with that, an Immortal will go down.
GG.
And GG is called. MaxPax takes map number 1 here.
Yeah, beautifully done. Although I did like what Trigger tried to do, but yeah, I mean, if you hold off the rush and you have 2 bases, you're gonna ultimately win that. But yeah, nicely done there by MaxPax.